All right, friends, today we're going to do a quick review about fractions on a number line. And we've talked quite a bit about this between these last 2 weeks, but let's just do a quick review. So if I'm looking at the fraction 2/4, well, looking at this fraction, remember the first step is always to draw our number line. Do you remember what the second step is? Are you thinking? Or are you waiting for me? The second step is to figure out our endpoints. So I'm always going to start at 0, and I need to figure out what is my endpoint going to be. So I'm going to first think about one whole. Let's see if one whole is enough, because we need this fraction that we're plotting to be less than what our endpoint is. So I know that one whole, if I'm counting by fourths, would be 4/4, because when it's a whole, the numerator and the denominator are the exact same number. And this tells me that I have 4 parts. So one whole would be 4/4. 2/4 is less than 4/4, so I'm going to end at 1. Now, my next step is to partition my whole. All right, so I have one whole here. From 0 to 1 is one whole. I know that I have 4 equal parts because it's in the denominator. But if I have 4 equal parts, how many lines do I need? Only 3. So I'm going to partition this as evenly as I can get it. And I remember I'm not a robot, but I'm going to do my personal best. 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. Not perfect, but close. All right, so I have 4 equal parts. Now what I need to do is figure out where 2/4 is going to be. And you guys know I always like to start at 0. And I almost forgot. Step 4 is plot the fraction. All right, so let's start here. 0/4, 1/4, 2/4. So 2/4 would be right here. All right, let's try another one. I'm going to leave our steps up here. Let's look at the fraction 5/4. All right, looking at the fraction 5/4, draw my number line. Step 1, done. Step 2 is find my endpoints. I'm always going to start with, you guessed it, 0. All right, looking at one whole, let's see if one whole is enough. What would one whole be in fourths? I hope you said 4/4. All right, remember we need the fraction to be larger than our endpoint. So we can't end at 1 because 5/4 is not less than 4/4. So let's see what 2 would be. I know that 1 and 1 make 2, so that means that 4/4 plus 4/4 has to be 2 wholes. And I know that 4/4 plus 4/4 is 8/4. Well, 5/4 is less than 8/4, so I'm going to end with, you guessed it, 2. All right. I was about to say I drawed. I drew my number line. I plotted my endpoints, but I'm missing a hole. What hole am I missing? I'm missing 1. So I'm going to go right in the middle and put a 1. Now I need to partition my holes. I have 2 holes. I have a hole here and a hole here. I need how many parts? 4, which is how many lines? 3. 1, 2, 3. Partition one of my holes, but I still got to partition my second hole, and that's what some people forget. You have 2 holes here. Sometimes you might have 3 holes or 4 holes or 6 holes. How many ever holes you have, they need to be partitioned. I've got 4 parts here. 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. I need to make 4 parts here. And I remember that that is 3 lines. Both of my wholes are partitioned into 4 equal parts. I am ready to count. 0 fourths, 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, 4 fourths. Ah, here is my 5 fourths. All right, as you're working on plotting these numbers on the number line, remember, draw your number line, decide on your endpoints, partition your whole, or wholes if you have more than one, and then plot the fraction. All right, one more thing I want to show you. You might be in a position to where you don't need to plot the number or the fraction. It might ask you what the fraction is. Okay. What if I said, what is this fraction right here? Well, we first need to figure out what our denominator is. The denominator is how many parts we have in all. So I'm going to count my parts. 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, 5 parts. So my denominator is 5. So we're counting by fifths. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. Uh-oh, Miss Inslee made a mistake. Let me start over. 0/5, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. What would my whole be in fifths? 5/5. All right, let's try one more, and then I'm going to let you do some practice on your own. What if I said, what is that fraction right there? I need to figure out how many parts I have on my whole. So let's count the jumps. 1, 2, 3. So my denominator is going to be 3. And if I go between this hole and this hole, you'll also notice that I have 1, 2, 3 jumps as well. So if my denominator is 3, then what fractional unit are we counting by? Thirds. Here we go. 0 thirds, 1 third, 2 thirds, 3 thirds, and this would be 4 thirds. All right, I think you are ready to go. Have fun.